Hello traders out there in Traderland, my name's Des here at Grok Trade and welcome to the weekend edition. This weekend edition is good through January 20th, 2013. Set the ground running here. Friday, the markets in the day mix with the NASDAQ in negative territory. However, the S&P up 1/3%, Dow up 0.4%, Russell's up 0.3%. Banks off all day long on Friday, pulling on the markets. But the VIX is the huge news. We're going to be looking at that. VIX down to a 5.5-year low. Last time we were down this low was April 2007, down 8.2%. We are below 12.5, gang, on the fear indicator. That I can't. The last time we were here was April 2007. That is huge news. Gold off by 0.16%, silver up 0.5%, crude oil up 0.29%, and US dollar up almost a whopping 0.5%, and the markets still remain bullish in the face of that. Utilities up strong, up 0.93% on Friday, closing out the week. Taking a look here at the S&P daily. Now check this out. We pop here, major pop. We do a high base choppiness, a little pop, a base. This last week has been just horrid for swing traders to trade. This is a very tough market to be trading anytime you're in consolidation like this. So just anytime you're in consolidation, it's a good time to take a break, take a vacation, sit back, watch the markets, don't get caught up in choppiness. Then we started rallying last couple of days. Today we started off with a really low, when I say today, Friday, a very shallow trading range, but then it started opening up. We did have a drop at one point of the day, and then we rallied strong to end the day. Ended the day on Friday near the day's high. But check this out, we're at a resistance point. Going back, bringing in some more data. Support here, resistance here. Resistance here, resistance here, resistance. We're resistance here on Thursday, Friday. We hit that resistance yet again. So we're at a resistance line, gang. Can we bust through? Maybe, maybe not. Here's the weekly chart. I really don't see anything in the way from this to get to 1500, gang. This thing's up, and away. So once we get to 1500, actually when we get to 1505 and a half, be looking for major resistance there, going into 1506, big time resistance. On the monthly chart, check this out. Major resistance, major resistance, major resistance. We're so far busted up through major resistance. That's quite nice. Now I'm going to bring this in, bring in the data. Now watch this. If I were to make this a line chart, you can see support here. Do you see this gray line coming up? Support here. We're at a resistance point with that little gray line. Click full screen to make sure you can see this. It's very important that you see that. So we are at a resistance minor trend line here that we have to pay special attention to. So let's see if the markets, if the markets do drop back, it's going to be a dandy because it's going to want to come all the way back below this trend line. And that's going to put us around the 1455, 1450 area if that were to happen to close out this month. Now let's take a look at the NASDAQ. Now NASDAQ's at a resistance point. Resistance, 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 and here we are, resistance. We're right there at resistance. So we're having a hard time getting over that. Again, we closed really nicely here on the markets, but we got a lot of support below it, above all major moving averages, even above the exponential moving averages. So we've been on fire. But if we start to break down, there's a big drop that could commence. If that happens on the weekly chart, little pop, base, high base, boom, big pop above a trend line. You can see this going back here. Support, support, resistance now is acting as support. And however, the trajectory isn't the best here. If I were to do this, so we were heading up pretty aggressively. Now we're starting to roll over a bit here. So something to be watching for. If you look at a monthly chart, Now this is big news. Big line here. Let's bring in a lot more data. This goes back to 1999. We come over, find a resistance point here. Now let's zoom back in. We are over that right now. We are over that, and we're over this close going back to mid 2012, that 31.17 we were looking at. We're above that right now. But if you look, this magenta line, resistance, we tagged it and pulled back from that. So we are there on the monthly chart. Take a quick look here at the Russells. This is the Russells, and you can see we're busting through a monthly major trend line. Resistance, we're busting through that. Very strong. On the weekly chart, up and away, no overhead resistance. On the daily chart, you can see this channel is in it, busted up through that. A lot of upside potential here if it wants to keep running. And let's take a quick look at the banks. The banks have been on fire, big pop, high base, and we're moving higher. But on Friday, we're showing weakness in Friday's strength. Here is a major issue I want you to be aware of. You can see the bearish divergence on the MACD while we're going higher here. That's problematic. If you look at the weekly chart, we have resistance coming up. So we have resistance, we're getting ready to hit resistance. And on the monthly chart, we had this is just a choppy high rise that it's on right now, but right now it's busting through resistance areas, and it's doing fairly well. Take a look here at the VIX monthly. Now this is big time news. Said we'd be looking at this. You'll want to share this with your friends. But this goes back to a major, if you look at these lows, this goes from 2003 or 2003 to 2006, 2007, these very low VIX numbers. That means fear was really low back here. And this is called complacent areas. What that means is that there's complacency amongst the bulls and bears, no fear out there, and the markets will just churn northbound. This was a nice bull rally for several years here, going higher and higher until the crash of 2007. And then you had major catastrophic spikes in the fear indicator, just off the charts. So you can see these major highs, and this is on a monthly chart, so you can just imagine this. Well, what's interesting here is where we're at right now. We had this low base and we broke it down, and I marked this going back again, April 2007 is where we're at here, that this is a big time drop. If you look at a weekly chart, you'll see this weekly chart, big drop heading down, but we have a trend line I want you to pay special attention to. You might want to put on yours, resistance, now support right here, should surely act as support again. So I could actually see this getting somewhere around 11.3 maybe. Remember that number before it can rally. So if you look here at the daily chart, there's your drop, here's your low base, and here is your drop. I've been talking a lot about low bases here. Simply go to the chart school to know about a low or high base. Once you're there, go to stock chart patterns right here and look for like a high base here. And if you go and click on that, what's great about this, you get a definition, you also get a background, and then you get practical use. Here's a high base formation. Share this with your friends. Going back to the markets here, let's take a look at gold. Now gold, what's interesting with gold is we did a gap up and drop on Friday, and you have what's called a bearish thrusting pattern, a reversal pattern, finding resistance 50-day moving average. If you look at the weekly chart here, we're in a bull flag, so you get this big pop, a big bull flag. We're starting to rally here, so if we can keep going, we could have a huge rally, real big rally in gold. And here on the monthly, if you'll notice, we have a drop and a doji after a drop. This is a bull pullback. You could get a nice run here, but we have significant resistance points with these moving averages. And take a look at Apple. On the monthly Apple, we are right here at $500, and you had a pullback to 500, but we have a close, or so far for the month, we are below the 20-month moving average. And if you look over here at the weekly, check this out. We drop. We've come back, closing at 500. We're below a point. You can see support here. Support here is not acting as resistance, but this is a falling wedge, and this could get bullish and fast. Be watching that. And here on Friday on the daily chart, we popped up, hit our head at resistance. So support, resistance. We dropped, but this could turn out to be a double bottom, a W for winner, and then a rally. So something to be watching for. And Facebook, a lot of people talking about Facebook. Facebook faltered on Friday. It looked like it was down 1.6%. So this is a good opportunity, I thought, to get a rally going here, but Facebook's not showing that yet. If you look at the weekly chart, pop, this thing now is a dark cloud cover reversal pattern, candlestick reversal pattern, and it's wanting to head south. And on the monthly chart, we came up here hitting some of these near highs. Now it's pulling back a little bit, but we were doing fairly well. So anyway, that concludes it. I hope that you share us with a friend. There's a lot of individuals that could use technical analysis like this to help better them in the markets themselves. It's all about capital preservation first and then making money second. We're certainly here to help you do both. So spread us to a friend, share us on Facebook, share us there on YouTube, and make sure you like this video below and leave a comment. I read them all. Take care.